A hallucination is a complete mechanical error in human sensory processing. It is an intense, vivid perception capable of utilizing sight, sound, touch, or smell, generated entirely without any external physical stimulus. For medical board exams and clinical practice, the immediate differential diagnosis requires isolating this total sensory fabrication from a closely related but distinctly different phenomenon, the illusion. This split-screen cognitive model illustrates the exact point of divergence. On the left, we see the pathway of an illusion. An actual external stimulus, in this case a rope, enters the optic pathway. The visual cortex receives the data, but misinterprets it as a snake. The critical factor is that real-world data initiated the process. On the right side, we see the hallucination pathway. The sensory cortex spontaneously activates. Neurons fire and generate a highly detailed perception, but the optic pathway carries zero input. No stimulus is present. Identifying whether a stimulus is present or absent dictates the entire clinical response. An illusion is a processing distortion common in fatigue or low light. A hallucination indicates a severe disruption in brain chemistry or structure. To legally classify a sensory event as a psychiatric hallucination, it must meet 4 rigid criteria. First, as established, it must occur with absolutely no external trigger. Second, the patient must possess total conviction that the perception is real, lacking the insight to recognize it as a misfire of their nervous system. Third, the experience is not under voluntary control. A patient cannot choose to initiate it, alter its content, or dismiss it through willpower, distinguishing it entirely from active imagination. Finally, the perception must occur during a state of clear consciousness. The patient must be awake and fully alert. Requiring clear consciousness isolates the pathology. It proves the brain is fabricating reality while fully awake, allowing clinicians to definitively rule out normal dream states, sleep terrors, and transitional sleep phenomena. This diagnostic matrix maps how this specific sensory channel, or modality, acts as a direct biomarker for the underlying etiology. We begin with auditory, the most statistically prevalent presentation. Within the auditory modality, clinicians look for specific structural subtypes. Second-person hallucinations involve voices speaking directly to the patient, such as "you are worthless." Third-person hallucinations feature 2 or more voices discussing the patient in the third person, treating them as an external subject. The most critical subtype is the command hallucination, where voices issue explicit orders to the patient. This elevates the presentation to an immediate psychiatric emergency, requiring strict safety and containment protocols to prevent the patient from executing the command. Structurally, the entire auditory modality correlates heavily with severe psychiatric disorders. It is the hallmark symptom of schizophrenia, though it frequently presents in cases of severe major depression with psychotic features and acute mania. When a patient reports hearing voices, the initial assessment algorithm must immediately prioritize a thorough psychiatric evaluation and acute risk stratification. If the patient reports seeing objects, people, or lights that are not present, the diagnostic probability shifts away from pure psychiatric illness. Visual hallucinations map strongly to organic brain decline and acute toxicity. They are primary diagnostic indicators for delirium, advancing dementia, and the acute neurochemical chaos of alcohol withdrawal. The matrix narrows even further with the tactile or haptic modality. Tactile errors often present as formication, a highly specific, distressing false sensation of insects crawling actively over or directly underneath the patient's skin. Formication serves as a biological alarm bell for severe substance toxicity, most notably seen in acute cocaine intoxication and late-stage alcohol withdrawal. Because visual and tactile modalities point so reliably to physical, neurotoxic, or degenerative states, they demand rapid physiological stabilization, IV fluids, and neurochemical management, rather than standard psychiatric intervention. Expanding the matrix to the olfactory modality, typically the perception of intense, unpleasant odors, like burning rubber or rotting meat, reveals a very strict correlation. These olfactory misfires are highly predictive of temporal lobe epilepsy, frequently serving as the specific aura that immediately precedes a focal seizure. Similarly, gustatory hallucinations, involving abnormal tastes, and somatic hallucinations, where a patient falsely perceives their internal organs moving or deteriorating, act as markers for complex, localized neurological disorders. When sensory errors become this bizarre and strictly localized, they indicate a structural brain misfire. The priority shifts from a psychiatric consult to an immediate neurological workup. Medical board exams frequently test special types of hallucinations because they test a clinician's ability to identify exactly where the boundaries of perception break down. This diagram outlines two specific processing variants. On the top is a functional hallucination. Here, a real external stimulus triggers a hallucinated perception within that exact same sensory channel. The patient hears the hum of a real fan, and that exact sound triggers the hallucination of hearing voices. On the bottom is a reflex hallucination. An external stimulus in one channel triggers a hallucination in a completely different channel. Hearing the hum of the fan causes the patient to see a visual apparition. We must also classify the sleep boundary conditions: hypnagogic hallucinations, which occur specifically as a patient is falling asleep, and hypnopompic hallucinations, which occur exactly as they are waking up. Finally, autoscopy represents a complex perceptual failure where the patient visualizes their own body from an external, third-party viewpoint. Accurately classifying these structural variations confirms a clinician understands the precise mechanics of how the brain processes or fails to process reality. Moving from diagnostic theory to active clinical practice, nurses and staff must monitor the floor for indirect behavioral indicators of perceptual breaks. Assessment relies on observing a patient talking or laughing in complete isolation, or their eyes actively tracking unseen stimuli moving across a highly lit room. Once identified, clinicians must use direct, unmitigated questioning. They must ask explicitly what the patient is hearing or seeing, screening immediately to determine if the voices are issuing commands to cause harm. At this stage, communication protocols are rigid. Clinicians must never argue with the patient's reality, as it provokes hostility, but they must never validate the hallucination as objective truth. The gold standard response establishes the boundary. I understand you are hearing voices, but I do not hear them. This phrasing de-escalates anxiety and maintains the therapeutic alliance, firmly anchoring the interaction in objective reality. Environmental control is the first line of intervention. Staff must systematically reduce external stimuli, providing a quiet, calm environment that prevents sensory overload from exacerbating the brain's spontaneous misfires. Simultaneous safety monitoring is actively deployed, maintaining constant observation to intercept any behavioral actions driven by command hallucinations. This nursing management flowchart resolves at the definitive intervention for severe, non-organic hallucinations, targeted pharmacology. To suppress the false signaling, clinicians deploy primary antipsychotic agents, specifically high-yield board testables like haloperidol, risperidone, and olanzapine. Effective clinical management relies on this strict sequence. You identify the specific perceptual error, secure the patient from the immediate physical risks of their altered reality, and deploy precise neurochemical tools to finally silence the false signal.